have free buttons and information on this side of the stage. And over here, voter registration.
We have a good turnout today.
First, we will have a 9/11 address, followed by some wonderful speakers and chanting practice. Then we march. But, all right. Okay. But now we're going to do a little housekeeping. Look around. We're going to increase the peace together. This is your team. If you see something that looks out of place, say something to an organizer. We're going to practice stepping up and stepping back. If you have special needs or a child with you, step forward. If not, please step back and make room for them. Because we believe in stepping up and stepping back for those of us that enjoy privileges to make room and provide equal access and equality. Please welcome Kirsten Daly.
Welcome, everyone. In light of this solemn anniversary, our friend Rachel Allen, singer, songwriter, author, yogi, sound healer, teacher, and active member of the Unity Coalition of the Southern Alleghenies, agreed to present our 9/11 address. Regrettably, she could not be here today, but graciously penned the following words. Honoring 9/11. The clear blue sky on a crisp morning without a cloud in the sky appears to hold promise, energy, and hope. However, the clear blue sky on the morning of September 11th, 2001 brought what no one could ever have expected. Whatever plans, purpose, and intentions any of us may have had soon fell to the wayside as life as we knew it forever changed. On this day, 21 years ago, some of us may have been at our desks at work, showing up at work sites, changing shifts in hospitals, or winding down from night shifts. Many of us may have been children in schools, young adults away from home at university, or persons living or traveling abroad. Wherever you happen to be during this time, life changed. Maybe you knew someone in the towers that survived, or did not. Maybe living so close to Shanksville, PA, where Flight 93 came to rest, you were jolted into the reality of how close to home this landed. We gather here today in community to honor the lives lost and lives forever altered by this tragedy. Let us take a moment of silence to mark the weight and magnitude of this day. The personal and the political are intertwined. Can we reimagine wholeness here in our own community? Can we lean and live into this vision and co-create a just future? May we affirm on this day of remembering the right of all beings to have access and agency to care that allows them to thrive. May we affirm the right of all beings to freely and safely navigate in their bodies. May we affirm the right of all beings to live in peace. May our individual and collective thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the access, agency, freedom, safety, and peace of all beings. So be it, so may it be. With you in full solidarity and spirit, while at home in quarantine, Rachel Allen.
Yes.
Thank you, Kirsten, and thank you, Rachel, for those beautiful words. Hello, everyone. My name is Adrienne Daly, and along with my daughter, Kirsten Daly, we are Johnstown for Choice. Yay! We are here today in conjunction with Tracy Baton of Women's March Pittsburgh to send a message to our legislators that we will not go back.
Yeah!
They want to take away our bodily autonomy, to disallow us to make choices for ourselves. They want us to carry an unviable pregnancy until we are sick enough, until we are septic enough to receive a medical procedure that we have a human right to. Do no harm. That's what doctors pledge to do. But they are now threatened with imprisonment for providing the health care that we are entitled to as human beings. People are dying. Women are being victimized. Both the LGBTQ plus community and the disability community are being victimized and denied needed medication. People, even children, who are victims of rape and incest are being re-victimized. Men who can't make the decision to save their wives are being victimized. We have the right to choose. We have the right to protect our mental health, our financial future, our everyday lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
On September 3rd, Kirsten and I sat down with House Democratic leader, Representative Joanna McClinton. We asked her, Joanna, what can we do? What would you have us say to the people at our rally? She said, you know, ladies, we've been here before. Pennsylvania cannot cede our power to the radical Republicans in Harrisburg. We need to come together. We need to stand up for our rights. We need to register and take part in the upcoming election on November 8th. Vote like your lives depend on it. Because literally, they do.
Yes.
I'd like to introduce a beautiful, strong woman who has been instrumental in helping us pull together this rally. We owe her a million thanks for the gracious gifts of her time and experience. Tracy Baton is a licensed social worker who has led and supported many First Amendment actions, including Pittsburgh Loves Paris and 5 Women's March on Washington Pittsburgh events. She is from Pittsburgh's Hill District and Squirrel Hill neighborhoods. She graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, in the University of Florida, where she studied medical anthropology, African history, and later social work. She works as a project manager, organizer, and psychotherapist focused on healing trauma in the LGBTQ plus and Black community. She is a mother of 3 girls and 2 grandchildren. Please welcome Tracy Baton.
You like how I work in that grandma part? I'm like, yeah, no, put the grandma part in the introduction. I'm a shameless fan of my grandchildren and incredibly blessed that I've been able to make reproductive choices throughout my life. I am here not despite my grandchildren, but because of them. And this is not in my speech. We're going to have a different speech today. I had an abortion when I was 15. When I was 15 years old, 14 years old, I met a man who convinced me that life would be different with him somehow. And my mother was busy and signal, and I believed him, and I got pregnant. And he wanted a grown man, a 30-year-old man, who wanted me to keep that child. I made the choice to have an abortion. I decided that my future was not going to be defined by one mistake. I decided that I had to take control of my reproductive health and step forward, and I had an abortion. Now, I had an abortion in Pennsylvania, and we are not without restrictions. I had to go through the nightmare of pictures and questions, and you know, if I want to have my kidneys removed, my liver removed, the state of Pennsylvania does not get involved. Abortion is health care. Let's all say abortion is health care. We need to trust Pennsylvania women to make these decisions between them and their doctors. We don't get in the doctor's office with you when you want to have a vasectomy. We don't get in the doctor's office with you about how you're going to treat your prostate cancer. We do not even make you go to the doctor to get Viagra, which is not good for your heart. But if you want to have an abortion, and some people, including some who are running for office in our state, believe that birth control should also be on that list, do not believe that abortion is health care. and abortion is health care. So, yeah, that's the speech I wasn't going to give. But, and of course, the story of America is the struggle for increasing liberty. Abortion is one of our liberties. That is one of our essential liberties as Americans. But in the beginning of our story, we didn't have all of those liberties. Only wealthy white landowners could vote. In Pennsylvania, we had some more privileges. We were considered a liberty state because under the Charter of Privileges, it provided for free property, free enterprise, a free press, trial by jury, religious toleration, freedom of worship, and the right for an individual to speak their mind. Our state's constitution was written in 1776, right before the U.S. Constitution, and that's why those things sound familiar to you. So we live in a hotbed of liberty. Liberty is our birthright, and no one can take it from us.
Hello, Johnstown.
Hello.
So I probably made the mistake of putting it on my phone too, just FYI. But first, I want to thank Shelley Kirchner for getting me in touch with Kirsten about this event. And also, I would like to describe myself for those who are visually impaired or are blind. So I am a white 36-year-old woman sitting in a manual pink wheelchair. I am wearing jeans, I have blonde hair, and I have dark frame glasses, and I have a nice little leopard print shawl thing on. So, thank you, everyone. So she pretty much said a lot about myself, but here's the thing. I have gone to DC multiple times for various different advocacy things as it pertains to disability. I am very privileged that I have had those opportunities. But this is not about Barb Zablotny. This is about disability issues. And it's not going to be me that does it all. It's going to be you, it's going to be you, and it's going to be everyone in here that has to care about disability issues. We are the silent majority minority in this country. Did you guys know that before Roe versus Wade got attacked, disability rights was attacked first by our Supreme Court? They ruled to strip our rights away with the Cummings versus Premier Rehab ruling. That means that if I am discriminated against at a medical facility, can't do anything anymore. Can't do anything. But you didn't hear anyone talk about it, did you?
Nope.
That's what they wanted. April 28th was the date of that ruling. And then guess what happened? Here's Roe versus Wade. So disabled people have always been first when it comes to terrible things happening. And this was a representation of typical history. So here we are. Women and other people with uteruses are now under attack as well as disabled people. The overturning of Roe versus Wade is definitely a disability rights and justice issue as well. It doesn't get showcased though. You know why? Because people use disability as the reason to justify their abortions. That's why we don't get talked about. Ableism is ingrained into our society. And that is just how terrible our lives must be with this disability. Is my life looking terrible right now? No. Do you know anyone in your life, grandparents, anyone else with a disability? Are they enjoying their lives? Yes. We are also worth to be here as well. Yes. Our value is attached to our labor. And if we can provide labor, we aren't valuable to people if we cannot provide that labor. they think that we cannot provide labor. Let me tell you, I do a lot more than a lot of able-bodied people I know. So, and I don't get paid for it. Let's not start about those social issues as it pertains to being paid as a disabled person. That's a whole nother topic for another day. More than 80% of people with uteruses who have disabilities are sexually assaulted. Access to help and care were already hard before the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Now, it just creates even more barriers for everyone. Disabled people live on a fixed income just so they can survive daily. Our access to our health care is life or death. It does not have to do with getting free money because we can't work. No other insurance plan in this whole entire country other than Medicaid will provide waiver services for attendants to take care of us. We have no other option but to live in poverty. Disabled people are now going to be struggling to access this abortion care. Traveling is a huge barrier for disabled people.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah? Thank you so much. So I moved to Pennsylvania 2 months ago to start medical school. And first of all, I recognize that's such a privilege. But I have to say that what was intended to probably be the most exciting thing in my life, right? I worked 10 plus years to get to medical school, suddenly became a moment filled with anxiety and horror as I realized moving from New York to Pennsylvania with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And the program I'm in, I'm committed to do my residency here, realizing that I'm in a position, as well as many of my colleagues, where we are going to face these issues where we're going to have patients coming to us in definite need of an abortion, and our hands are going to be tied, and we're going to be unable to provide that medical care for fear of incarceration. There's already been a history of incarceration of physicians for providing abortion care here in Pennsylvania. I visited the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philly, and my body still shivers with chills when I think of the words of my tour guide asking us, do you know where we got the doctors to staff this hospital here in this penitentiary? They were doctors imprisoned for performing abortions. I just want to remind everyone, abortion is health care. Last month, I, along with my friend Sue and another community activist, were able to visit the Capitol, and we spoke with Alexander Fetfold, a young legislative aide who's so concerned about the morality of abortion, so concerned that he feels that we should not allow women to make decisions about their own body, including health care. What I think this young person with lack of wisdom is lacking in understanding is that morality is personal. It's not societal. And if we're looking for what should be applied society-wise, we need to look at ethics. Now, I happen to have a master's degree in bioethics, so I can assure you that it is actually ethical to provide an abortion, and it is unethical to strip someone of that. Briefly, there are 4 pillars for ethics. Some of them may sound familiar, some may not so much. Beneficence, so to do good. Distributive justice, equal access to equal quality care, i.e., don't deny access to health care to someone because they have a uterus or for other reasons. Bodily autonomy, which I'm not really surprised the Supreme Court doesn't know how to uphold, considering we have a few members on the court who stand credibly accused of sexual assault. And lastly, one that sounds quite odd, non-malfeasance, which basically means do no harm. An oath I had to take when I got this very white coat, my very first month of medical school, to do no harm. And I'd like to speak a little bit more about doing no harm. See, doing no harm is not just an act of commission, right? Doing something that hurts somebody, but it's also omission. It's withholding care from someone, withholding care that could potentially be beneficial to this person. So I want to express my concern when abortion is actually safer than carrying to full term a pregnancy that a person does not want, versus pregnancy and childbirth, which have incredibly high complication rates. We've seen the maternal mortality rate in this country increase. In fact, between 2018 and 2020, even though there were over 100,000 less pregnancies, we still saw the maternal mortality rate increase. How is that possible that another 200 plus women died from maternal mortality, even though 100,000 less women were pregnant? There is something truly wrong with our healthcare system. We are failing our patients. We are failing our patients who are pregnant, especially when we deny them access to a procedure that could potentially save their life. Now, what I also want to add, thank you for that, is that it's not only about whether or not somebody dies. Of course that is important, but it also changes your body, right? We see increases in morbidity, things like diabetes, hypertension, that are very often onset by pregnancy. What about near misses, times when a woman almost dies but thankfully pulls through? Something like kidney failure, stroke, respiratory arrest, no big deal. No, that is a big deal. These have irreversible effects on a woman's body. And I just want to ask those who support SB 106, because you think that we have this little loophole saying that we will support it. We'll support abortion if it's for life of mother. But how can you guarantee that? How can you guarantee that a woman that you are forcing to have an abortion will not die, will not have some sort of complication, will not have an irreversible health concern because of this? Something that may disable her, may prevent her from taking care of her future children, or may prevent her from having a wanted pregnancy later on. You cannot guarantee that. There are no guarantees in healthcare. In fact, 1 in 8 women who are seeking an abortion are doing it for concerns of their physical health, and it may not be something that's so clearly outlined in this narrow definition that our state Senate is willing to give us. And almost all have a reason for abortion that could in some way be tied to their mental health. Abortion is health care. So, thank you so much. As we come to a close...
Alexis Zenovenko.
Thank you. I became a feminist in 1968, and abortion was the reason why. I had read a book that year, and it changed me as a very young teen. And I realized the horrors that were going on. This was before Roe v. Wade. And so I became a feminist at the age of 13. I was legally male. I am now old, legally female. And I never thought that I would be here before you today to say, go vote, talk to your friends, get involved in community action, realize that people with uteruses are under attack across the USA, not just here in Cambria County, Somerset County, Blair, wherever it may be, all over. And it's just a fight. It is ongoing. We have to realize